Hello and welcome to Markiron Shipyard, episode 29. Today, we are going to work on the warp core. I've taken the liberty of removing my placeholder. And let's get right into the build, shall we? So, start off, we're going to have 3 separate steam tanks. So, these are liquid-fueled fireboxes. Or fuel boxes. Nope, firebox was the correct term. And they basically form the foundation of the boiler. Next, I'm going to use high-pressure boilers. Now, with the firebox, you actually have a couple choices. Liquid-fueled, solid-fueled. Now, I've chosen to go with liquid-fueled because I think it'll look cooler. Plus, I like moving liquids around. Solid fuel is definitely an option too. And I'll probably actually use solid fuel in the production of the liquid fuel. More on that later. The other component we need to get started is a boiler. Fabulous. High pressure, low pressure. Pretty self-explanatory. This, I believe, decreases the capacity of the boiler, whereas this is a higher capacity. I've already got some here. I think a high-pressure boiler can also support more falling into holes. Support more end devices than a regular boiler. As you saw, when I got the last block on there, see right now, not all together, last block, bam! And here's the UI. So we have our fuel and our water. We're going to get into actually filling this thing later. But for now, we're going to finish setting up the remainder of our boilers. Bam. And there we go. Tic-tac-toe. 3 in a row. So, one of the conditions is, on this side, the underside, I'm just going to open these up so I can actually access them. Whoops, knocked out a firebox. This is the side we have to put the water and the fuel into. Doesn't really matter where on the bottom block, but that's where they have to enter. And then all the steam will protrude from the top 2/3. But my theory is I'm going to set this up so that I can access it to change anything should I desire to. So let me grab what I need and let's get right into it. Alright, so I never like building anything on camera without prototyping it. So after a brief break, here is a running system. As you can see, we're generating some steam and water, and there is actually fuel in here. It just, from pipes, doesn't seem to accept any more than it currently needs. But if we look in under here, there is most definitely fuel filling up in, and it seems to have stopped running. But the proof of concept is there. Ooh, this is out. That could be why. Let's fill this up, shall we? Dum-da-dum-da-dum. And of course, I will come up with far more automated ways of filling this when we get to that stage of the game. Alrighty, no clue why it's still not running, but yeah, that was funky. I had this running a moment ago. I really did. Honest. And then I hit the record key, and it decided it stopped working. But as you can see, the water flows in fine, so I have a feeling there is a Railcraft update that I do not have that was recent. I have a feeling this has probably been bugged, fixed, etc. So if you don't mind me, I'm going to go do an update. All right, so I'm back with good news, bad news, and really bad news. The good news is I've gotten this working where I can add fuel to it. The bad news is I have to use Buildcraft pipes to do it. The really bad news, yeah, I may have let this run out of water. No water, full of fuel. That's 15 buckets of fuel in there. 305 degrees. If I add water to this right now, it will explode quite joyously. Now, chances of it actually doing significant damage to my ship are minimal. Do I want to take that risk? No way. So I've disconnected the fuel source, and it's gonna have to quite literally burn through 15 buckets of fuel. Fabulous. And then cool down to under 100 degrees Celsius, and then I can add more water. And actually, I should disconnect this on this side just in case. Right. Okay, so water's disconnected on this side. I don't want that getting reconnected. That gets reconnected, this whole room explodes. A little bit dangerous, but I like it like that. So, this giant room is fabulous. I don't think I'm going to be able to fit 3 more of these tanks here and here. I've got the 3x3 footprint, but as soon as I put another one of these tanks right beside each other, it actually disengages it, so there has to actually be a space between it. That's not going to work here. I have exactly enough room. So I'm going to build a giant freaking tank right here and then do away with this one. This one tank will be able to feed all 3 steam engines. Kind of make it a little bit nicer. A little bit. So, first things first. Give myself a little space by the door. Now, this is a 3x3. The next step up is actually a 5x5. Kind of big. Yeah. But, you know what? Actually, yeah. It's okay if it's a little bit of a centerpiece in this room. So, line along here. Do I want to move that over to... No, it goes up against the wall. Alrighty, so let's clear out this bottom spot and fill it with iron tank wall. Or in this case, I guess it's iron tank floor. And conveniently, I don't think I've shown how to make these yet on camera. So this will be a convenient little note to you guys. So I'm going to want this maximum height, which is 8, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And come on over here. Now, this is where I miss one of my favorite tools from a mod. Well, not long past. It's still in active development. But the tool I want and I loved isn't there. The tool would be the Markiron, which I never pronounce right, but oh dear how I love it so when it comes to this kind of stuff. Because I could literally just spend energy to build this all automatically. Now, granted, I could also do computer craft automation, but then I'd have to teach it how to build a tank, which doable, certainly doable. Now, the cool thing about these tanks is, unlike the our good friends, the liquid fuel box, these guys should accept. There I go with it, should again. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, maybe, kinda, sorta. So what I should be able to do is there. And these will all go up into the room above. And will be separated by these. And that way I can have full-size fuel tanks and actual fuel production facilities on the ship, and they can pipe in mass into this tank. So if we're burning through a lot of fuel, they can fix it. Plus, it means we can sort of fuel up at the same rate we're deploying it, because as is, we have 3 quote-unquote fuel boxes, each holding, granted, they do only hold 16 buckets of fuel, assuming that the units match. But still, they're all burning all the time. I'm actually going to go through and use some of the power they produce to automate the fuel production, as well as build up some reserves so that while I'm building the automation, they'll still run. So it's kind of funny. I will build the reserve systems and use the reserve systems to handle building the main systems. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. These are the valves that are going to take the fuel over to where it's ultimately going. And now when I bring this down to ground level, bam, it's a tank. And this tank has a capacity of 3,200 buckets of whatever I darn well please. Fabulous. So I am going to take a break, wait for this darn thing to heat up and then cool down. You know what? I'm going to waste the fuel anyway. Breaky. So, let's see. I need fireboxes. Liquid fueled. So now, unless the fuel is actually stored in the upper part of the tank, which I strongly doubt, there we go. Reset. So, between this episode and next, I'm going to get Buildcraft Water over. I wish I could use the red power pipes. I wish I knew what was up, but I can't find anything about it, so guess I'm just going to have to use those for upper level distribution and make do with my other solutions till then. So, thank you for tuning in to Markiron Shipyard, episode 29, and I'll see you next time on Markiron Shipyard.